I just want to take a minute this morning as a result of the attacks in Orlando to remind people of an article that came out. It appears it was something that was posted in the Washington Post. It said in Libya, militias pose a security threat. It was dated 3/10 of 2012. A lot of people probably didn't even read about this because of all the continued distractions that we've been dealing with coming out of this administration. First one scandal, then one controversial issue after another. But anyway, this was an article that was written by Abigail, looks like Hoslow, I can't read it, and Craig Whitlock. It was published September 14th. It says, in the last week of his life, Ambassador J. Christopher Stevens was focused on a problem that has bedeviled Libya since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi last year, the country's militias that operate above the law. Despite the formation of a new government and successful elections this summer, many of Libya's streets are still run by former rebel fighters who have not fallen under the command of a central authority. It remains unclear who was behind the attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi on Tuesday that killed Stevens and 3 other Americans, but the extent of the lawlessness that pervades Libya was certainly a factor. Now, Stevens, who became ambassador in May, apparently had been talking with friends and colleagues about solutions. Now, we're talking about friends and colleagues probably both here in the U.S., in the administration, as well as in Libya. And according to a friend who attended meetings in Benghazi with Stevens on Monday and Tuesday, now this was in the 2 days leading up to the Benghazi attacks, within 24 to 48 hours, the diplomat that was speaking to Stevens had proposed, or maybe it was Stevens, it doesn't specifically say, it just says the diplomat had proposed sending militia leaders who themselves were once battle-hardened and may still be battle-hardened individuals, to the United States in an exchange program that would allow them to meet American Muslims, basically be embedded in the Muslim community, where they could obviously, even preach hatred towards America and learn about U.S. democracy. The friend who dropped Stevens off at the diplomatic compound just hours before the attack in Benghazi, and just hours before Stevens died, spoke on the condition of anonymity out of concerns about personal safety. Now, the only reason you'd have concerns about personal safety is if you were feeling that there was a possibility that you yourself could be attacked for what you knew or what conversations you were having with Stevens, since Stevens was who you were meeting with. Libyan authorities said Thursday that they had made 4 arrests in connection with the attack, but they provided no other details. In acknowledging Libya's security shortcomings, the country's Deputy United Nations Ambassador Ibrahim Dabashi said Wednesday, "We have to say the reality that the authority of the government is still not covering the whole territory of Libya, and there are some groups and persons who are outlaws, and the government could not at this moment contain all of them. More than 200 private militias are still active in the sprawling North African country, despite efforts by the country's recent democratic leadership to draw them into more centralized units, according to a study released this week by the Atlantic Council. Many of the militias control swaths of territory and huge weapons arsenals looted from Gaddafi's military bases, according to the study. The stockpile includes tanks, anti-aircraft guns, and rocket launchers of the type that hit the U.S. consulate, and about a dozen of the militias are able to project significant military power. Particularly worrying to the U.S. intelligence officials is the possibility that the groups have acquired the more lethal man-operated portable air defense systems, or MANPADS, which are capable of tracking down an airplane. A senior Obama administration official, speaking on the condition of anonymity because the project is sensitive. Now, this is crucial because this individual speaking on the condition of anonymity because the project is sensitive is what you would classify as an intelligence leak. said the U.S. intelligence estimates that 100 to 1,000 man pads are still unaccounted for, despite U.S. efforts to buy up and destroy the weapons. Intelligence officials have speculated that the missiles were also smuggled across Libya's borders. Now, we're talking about smuggled out of Libya and into other countries like Syria. Glenn Doherty, a former Navy SEAL and one of the Americans killed in Tuesday's attack, told ABC News the month prior to this report that he had gone into Libya to track down man pads as a contractor for the State Department. Now, at this point, I think because of what we already know about Libya, it becomes crucial for this investigation into Benghazi and the death of these four individuals, these four Americans, to begin examining that particular direction, what the State Department knew, when they knew it, and also to question them over this issue about bringing these individuals into our country, and if that is in fact the reason why we have this administration pushing this, bringing these individuals into this country without proper vetting and knowing full well that our government organizations are not able to do the proper vetting that needs to be done. And certainly we need to be going after Clinton on these particular issues about bringing these people in, if that is what is currently going on with this administration, bringing these people into the country. We cannot continue to have Americans killed like this. Definitely this is a problem which the administration will use in order to further pursue its gun agenda. The attempts to remove guns from Americans. But let's point something else out. For more than 60 years, this country has had a drug problem. Drugs flowing across our southern border into the United States. And this government has, for 60 years, been completely useless in stopping that flow of drugs into this country. Yeah, there's an occasional bust here and occasional bust there, but there is far more that comes into this country than is ever stopped. We have the same problem with individuals coming into this country illegally, not doing it the way that they're supposed to do it. This has also been a long-term problem that this government has not addressed and apparently seems to have little interest in addressing. Now, if we have a government that has taken those positions in regards to both gun control and immigration, and appears to be incapable of doing the job that we as Americans expect from them when it comes to securing our borders, we have to take a look at the issue that obviously will be brought up by this administration, the need for stronger gun control. Here again, let's go back to that same situation that I was discussing. Can't keep drugs out, can't keep illegal aliens out. There's absolutely no way, if you do confiscate all guns across the United States from everybody that owns them, that you would ever be able to stop the flow of guns coming back into this country by people who want to purchase them illegally. And the evidence of that is the fact that you have had nearly 60 years of not being able to control our borders and when it comes to drugs and illegal aliens. How much more proof do we need to know and to show that the best way is gun ownership in America and open carry, so that people can minimize the amount of damage that will happen